Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to another YouTube live stream video thingy-mabob. I actually got the intro this time, I did it! Yes! Yes! I did the intro properly. So this week we are on Xbox One, a little bit less in population, but that's pretty normal for Xbox One. Xbox One does seem to have the smallest population of all the things. But we got another 5 tracks to do. Like always, the links to these tracks are in the description in the order that we are going to be racing them. But yeah, YouTube live stream once again, and this will turn into a video as well afterwards for those who are watching this as a video. But yeah, I mean, this is our little meetup. We decided to do a Vans meetup this time. We've been doing a different class of meetup each week is how we're gonna go with this. But yeah, let's start up the playlist. As with last week's playlist, if anybody hasn't been keeping up with what we've been doing, last week's playlist that was sort of from people who kind of, I guess you could say that they would have been Bruffy verified, or the tracks were sort of on that level, or at least the tracks were from creators who would have been Bruffy verified. We do have a few of those tracks today, but not all of them. Obviously, like I said, the population on Xbox One is less, which also means that the number of tracks is less on Xbox One as well. But there's a few tracks here from people who would have been Bruffy verified. There are some other tracks as well, and maybe we'll get a bit of a different look at some different levels of quality of tracks, so that I'll be able to criticize a bit more what we've got going on. But you know, we'll see how it goes, obviously, as always. Okay. I'm inviting crew members. Everybody who was in that session would have got an invite as well. But yeah, like I said, population on Xbox isn't as high, so not as many people in these races. But we will be showing some good races anyway, and even if these races aren't on your platform, you can always get tips on how to create races, what to do, what not to do, things like that. And hopefully you will sort of enjoy watching some racing as well. I was on my phone a little bit. I did do a little bit of a text. I'm trying to send invites as much as I can. Sending crew invites. Doing all the invites. I will keep sending invites out after each race, obviously, as always. Sometimes these things just don't work. Sometimes GTA just doesn't want it to happen. Be prepared for my seriously mediocre driving. I never judge. Never judge. It is what it is. You just gotta chill. These races are more about the tracks than the racing. It's not serious racing or anything like that, you know. It's obviously, as always, we try to do some clean racing and do some proper racing, but we're never too worried about it. So starting off with supers on red, black or green. This track would have been Broughy verified in its old guise, so that's why I've started up with this one. It would have been in the Broughy verified playlist. I think it was Broughy verified number 3 maybe, or would it have been the second one? I don't know, one of them anyway. I did do a video about all the previous Broughy verified tracks. But yeah, that's why I've started with this one. I will be interested again, kind of like the tracks that we had last week on PS4. It will be interesting to see how it's changed and how it's been updated. So we've been live for 5 minutes and about 40 seconds before we got into the first race. Hopefully you guys who are watching this as a video, it hasn't been too boring for you guys. Yeah, I do have a Chrome adder on Xbox One. For anybody who hasn't seen... Oh, I don't want that. Who hasn't seen the video where I bought a load of stuff. I did a specific live video, I think it was, where I bought a load of stuff on Xbox One with it was a spending spree on GTA Online. So you're welcome to watch that. One of the GTA Live videos. In fact, it spanned over 2 videos, I think. $7 million spending spree. But yeah, I got some weird and wonderful vehicles on Xbox One. Ow. Just because I could. So, this is red, black or green. I did like this track originally. I mean, the stunt props generally are always going to make something even better. And it was a very well made, well created track last time. Looks like it's already good with the stunt props. I do like tracks in Blaine County though. I mean, it is one of the better places for a track. Oh, this is interesting. This is better. That was always a problem point on tracks that utilised that bridge going up that way, because it was always a jump and people used to crash. I mean, I quite liked it because it was a challenge, but it was a major issue and I probably would have done exactly the same thing and covered that over. Interesting. A lot smoother there. It's a tight corner. Oh, hung it out around the outside. Lovely. So that was the first lap. Pretty decent, pretty fun. Not an awful lot of criticism about this. Some areas smoothed over, which is good. Blocked off there. Some challenging sections, some fast-paced sections. It's well created. I like that this is smoothed over better. The props that we used on the oh, that's a okay. We've gone this way. I do like this section as well, where you get sort of the different points. You know, you're passing people in different areas of the track. But yeah, this is just generally a better version of the track that I already liked beforehand. The props that we used to sort of cover over the dirt sections were never that good because you used to just lose so much grip on them. The old props, that is. The new ones are a lot better in the new ability, and this is a lot better as well. Coming onto this bridge, feels a lot smoother. Well made as well. You know, you've always got to do that when it comes to using track pieces and putting them into sort of transitions where you have a track piece and then the real world road. You do have to make sure that it's a smooth transition. You know, it's important. And that is a very smooth section. Take going on into the hairpin. But yeah, I always like Blaine County tracks. They flow very well. They are smooth. There's not a lot you can do wrong with them, really. I mean, you could leave it without props and it would be a good track. So and like I said, this is a track that would have been Broughy verified in the old guys, even without all the new recreation and props and that sort of stuff. So oh no. It's the only bit I don't like about it, that you can curb boost along there. Top 6 are all pretty close together. I can't seem to make an impression. I just thought I drove this out of the garage last time we were on Xbox, I think. Maybe I've lost the engine upgrade. Didn't think about that. Doesn't feel quite as punchy as it normally does. Maybe it's just me. Probably is. Yeah, this is a really nice track. Flows really well. Some nice sections here with the crossover bits. They're not really crossovers, but you know what I mean. You see other cars going through that hairpin. You go to through that section 3 times in 3 different ways. Oh, messed that up. Very well made track. Props are all very nicely done. Transition here is very nice. I like this a lot better than how it was in terms of a proper racetrack for nice clean racing. It's a lot better. Battle on, 3-way battle for the lead. Oh, he's gone for it on the last lap. Did he get it? No, he didn't. Wow, top 3 finished so close together. I do actually, Actual Panda, I do have a thing for being able to see different parts of the track. There's something about it, I just enjoy it. Not all tracks should be like that, I just enjoy it when tracks are like that. Maybe I wasn't too. I think the Osiris was fine. Half a second down on the best Osiris time. I can live with that. So close, that finish. So there you go. There's the first race. Like I said, the links for all these races are down in the description. We've started off good. That's a good race, that one, and we started off well. I haven't. There's some of these that I've given maybe 1 lap just to check. and then the others I haven't seen at all. I'll obviously tell you guys which, but that one I obviously previously knew because, like I say, it was going to be Broughy verified. It's a good track, very nice track. Highways of Forever. I've never seen this one. It looks very interesting. I think we'll do sports on this one. Should we do coupes actually? Let's do coupes. We'll do 4 laps again. Current, okay. The name of the track to compare cars is Cutting Coroner's GP. If you go to bit.ly/Broughy's Tracks with a capital B and a capital T, that's the way you can find it. Available on all platforms. F620 hype. Screw that. So yeah, good. A good start in terms of track quality, I would say. How many coroners have you cut, Broughy? Plenty. Let's use the beautiful exemplar. No F620s. Horrible machine. So, Highways of Forever. Let's see what this is all about. Oh no way! I thought it was listed as a proper. Oh right, okay. Now I get it. Why has it got reverted me back to first person? That's clever. I like that actually. I thought it was going to be a stunt race when I saw that. Now I realise. I like that. I thought it was going to be a stunt race, and I thought I'd been duped. Because obviously, like I said, I've never raced this before. Because it's listed as a proper race, a proper racetrack, and obviously that wasn't. Those things normally don't show a proper racetrack, but it clearly is. Those are just used to block off certain locations that you. I mean that does make it easier the first time that you play the track. It makes it easier to know which way to go and which way not to go, because you know it is the highway, so it is a little bit confusing at times. I'm gonna have a hard time in this race against all the Zions, by the way. Oh, we're going this way, are we? Okay, interesting. I like the exemplar a lot, and I don't really like the Zions or the felon, so I choose to use the exemplar, even though it is off the pace, and it certainly doesn't have the traction of the Zion. Nothing does. Looks like a Sentinel in front though. That's doing a good job in the Sentinel. Obviously, because we are on Xbox, some of the Xbox guys will know these tracks. Oh, big old crash here. That was never going to work in. Oh. That was beautiful. 3 wide into a tight chicane like that. That wasn't going to work. Bloody F620. Okay, let's try and regroup. So this is an interesting track. let's talk about the track instead of the racing, like I'm always meant to do in these. I like the use of those. It kind of, I think it ruins the feel of a proper racetrack in terms of if you want it to you know, feel like a Grand Prix circuit. You know, on Silverstone or something like that, you're not going to see those big things, but they are very, very effective for telling you where not to go. The same thing with the flames. Obviously, they don't look very race-tracky, but they look spectacular. The track itself, very interesting track because it is all on the freeway. Lots of hairpins. I do normally like freeway stuff. I've never really been a fan of these long corners, these on-ramps and off-ramps, the long ones here that I'm on now. Never really been a fan of those too much, but you know, it does add some variety to what you normally see. Oh, can I make this stick? Yeah, okay. I thought there was going to be a more tighter chicane there. This is it. Yeah. You know, there are some tight chicanes, that's good. There's some hairpins, which you're pretty much guaranteed to have if it's a track like this. It's something different. It is different. It's not like the standard city tracks that you normally see, with it being pretty much left to being on the road. And I like it, the freeways I mean. And I do like that, because I do. One of my favourite sections of circuit is the last part of Olympic GP, the freeway section. I do like that a lot, so I'm gonna like tracks like this. There aren't too much of a variety of corners, I would say. You know, it is hairpin, little turn, hairpin, longer turn, double apex, hairpin again. But that is a consequence of where it is, and it, like I say, it's something different to what we normally have. Yeah, it's a proper racing circuit. You could certainly do some proper racing on here. That is true. And that's the theme, obviously. Like I said, we will be doing different themes every now and then. I do like this section though, that's fun. Doesn't quite have the variety of some city tracks, but what it does do what it does well, if that makes sense. Oh, damn it! Exemplar wasn't having that around the long left-hander. I needed to slow down a bit more there. Its lack of traction hurt me. Again, well made. One criticism might be on the... maybe that's what caused the incident earlier. I would say on the chicanes, I think it's the tyre barriers that are used as the apex on those chicanes. Maybe it would be better having something else, because the tyre barriers are sticky. And it doesn't take much to stick on them. Oh no! God damn it! Maybe a prop covering those barriers. Those. Oh, I've wrecked him. I'm gonna have to let him go past. Not a good lap. This one has not been a good lap. Maybe some of the lampposts could be blocked off a little bit better. But in most of the areas on this track, it doesn't really matter at all, because there aren't lampposts to worry about. Oh, no, that's not a hairpin. That's going to be a chicane. I've forgotten the track. We've done 2 laps of the track and I was fine, and I've immediately forgotten it on the 3rd lap. I've got a Zion behind me, which I'm not going to be able to keep behind me for very long. You'll probably be able to drive around the outside of me on the next left here, probably. Would not be surprised. Well, not quite, but he got much better exit speed because of the speed he was taking around the corner. Is that a Zion? Okay, this was the 4th lap. So we had done 3 laps. Maybe that's a Sentinel? I don't know, I can never tell the difference. They all look exactly the same. He's probably going to go for a dive. Oh, and I ended up ruining it myself. Oh, so bad. That was not a good last lap. That was not a good last lap. I would say that that would be a nice track for supers, actually. That's a good thing. Oh, muscle. I mean, most tracks are good with muscle, in my opinion. These you know, but wow, everybody was in a Zion, apart from we had 2 felons, a Windsor drop. Good to see some variety. Okay, well, I was the best non-Zion. I mean, that's not too bad, and my lap times were at least not too far off what the Zions were doing. So that's not too bad, but that last lap was woeful. That was horrible. Anyway, that was Highways of Forever. Well made. You know, not a lot. Again, not too much to say. It doesn't feel like the sort of. You get some tracks that are clearly trying to be a proper Grand Prix circuit, or GTA's equivalent of a proper Grand Prix circuit. This doesn't feel quite like that. It's different, and I like different. And I like the freeway sections and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a few little bits need changing. Maybe the apexes of the chicanes and stuff like that, a bit sticky, but other than that, pretty decent. Alright, 2 miles, so we'll do 5 laps. Oh, I did give this one go, and it's very, very small, I think. It's very cramped. I mean, I think we might be better off going for something slower and smaller. But see, every vehicle, every class has a quick vehicle at the top now. Alright, let's knock it down to 4 laps. Do compacts with customs off. Mainly because I don't have a Brioso. And at least it evens the playing field. At least for me. And I'm all I care about, so... But the reason that I included this is because it is a well-made track, but I mean, I've only done 1 lap with it, but I wanted to include it because it was kind of one of the better of the options that we had for Xbox. Like I say, less people on Xbox, less tracks on Xbox, less tracks submitted for Xbox, but it is well-made, but I want to point out some things about it in terms of what makes a good racetrack, essentially, and why this can be difficult to do in anything other than compacts, really. But we'll see. We'll give it a lap, and I'll then explain what I mean. Like I say, these live streams, these videos are meant to be 10, you bitch. Yes, it does, Lowfish. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. With the 132. Like I was saying, these live streams are meant to be more about, well, they're about the tracks. Obviously, they're about showcasing good tracks. They're also about showing the shortcomings of some tracks as well. Why does it keep putting me to first person? Showing the shortcomings of tracks, and also giving potential track creators more ideas on how to create good tracks as well. Wow, that's a lot of crashes in the first corner. All you got to do in races like this is just keep it nice and simple. Just take it easy. you can be much slower than what it's possible to go. In fact, everybody should be much slower than what it's possible to go on the first lap, because it's where you're going to have issues and things going on. Like, you know, you get stuff like that all over the place. You just have to take it nice and easy on the first lap. That's all you got to do. Wait until it settles down a bit. And you'll make up loads of places just by taking it easy. Not getting involved in the incidents. Like that. Mister. Interesting choice. It's good to see some variety in car choices. Oh no. Yeah, that's a tricky point that I want to mention as well. So many crashes. Oh. Hopefully the crashes are showing people, or maybe people have come to their own conclusions about what I'm about to say about this track. Because can you imagine this in supercars, for example? Big, fat ass supercars, wide ass sort of Cyrus or X80 Protos that are long as hell, going double the speed of this. It wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world. So that's one lap done, and I think the problems with this track can be seen. Although it is very well made, in terms of you've got some really good apex barriers. The barriers themselves on the outside of tracks are good. You've got some coverage of the lampposts, you know, that's all good. Some things you just can't do, and this is in an area where it's very, very difficult to create a good racing circuit because it's so thin, the roads are so thin, and there's so many things that need covering, you know. That it's so tight that the track there's some sections that for prolonged periods are very, very tight, and then obviously you come along here and there's still stuff that isn't blocked off. It's starting to rain now, so that's going to make it even worse, I imagine. This section is very difficult as well because it's all black and you can't see that this is a chicane. I don't see the need to have that. It's pretty much one line and one car width going through that chicane. That wouldn't be a very good idea. And honestly, this is a well-made track, but it's in a place where you can't use anything other than compacts. You know, compacts, and this is only stock compacts. Anything other than compacts on this track would be suicidal and impossible, frankly. It's just too tight. The corners are too tight, the angles are too tight. It's someone, I just saw someone in the chat mention Monte Carlo GP. That's pretty much what this is. But for a GTA race, you know, you're not racing against the best drivers in the world, and there are much better solutions and much better options than just dealing with it. You know, you've got Monte Carlo wouldn't be on the F1 calendar if it didn't have the history that it does. When you've got to think that this is going up against hundreds of thousands of different racetracks, and I would say at least hundreds of very, very good racetracks. Why would anyone choose to race something like this and just deal with it when they could just choose to race a different track that is going to be a lot nicer? And that's the only issue with this circuit. It's a good circuit, but it's just not event circuit. You couldn't host an event on this. You couldn't do a multi-class endurance championship race on this. This is basically, it should be locked to compacts and then left as is. That's the only way that this circuit becomes viable. And even then, you've already seen all the crashes that we've had. I would say it needs a little bit more work in terms of making things a bit more visible. But as it is, you know, it's well made for what it is. But I think it just suffers from being in the wrong area. You can't make a track this tight and expect it to be raced regularly as a proper racing circuit. It's not. It just doesn't happen. People aren't going to race it when there's better options. Having said that, it has been a bit of fun. It's been something different. If you're up for something different, maybe you want to race some compacts. I can't imagine how bad this would have been if we'd had supers. But you know, you choose whatever you want to race. You know, you do what you want to do. The track is in the description. The link for it. Can you cut this? Yep. Another issue. Causes some dive bombs, I imagine. Or could cause some dive bombs. Cut this one as well. So it looks great. It's well made. But when it comes to GTA races, there are better. And I think it's more suffering because of the placement. And that's something you got to keep in mind as well. Sometimes there are some areas of the map that you just can't create a good race in. And I think Vespucci is one of them. Unless you heavily rely on a lot of new stunt props and there's only a very small amount of narrow sections. But you know, you've got to keep that in mind, that it's not always down to you as a creator. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do for a circuit in an area. You got to be smart about it, and you should avoid at all costs trying to make tracks that are like this. If you're looking at this and see your track is very similar in terms of it's narrow and it's not a lot of space and there's very harsh corners all the time, you got to think, why would anyone want to play that, especially if you're going in with a 30 player lobby? It's just carnage, and you saw what happened on the first lap. I went from last to third place without really doing anything. Even in that race, I didn't do anything. I was just tootling around. Would be fun in golf carts, I agree. Golf carts would be fun. There actually was a Vespucci track on PS4 by Judo Joker, who had one of the tracks that we had last week. He made a good Vespucci circuit, but even then, it was still on the edge of, you know, it was, when you compare it to top end tracks that have really good, they have a lot of space, they have a lot of good stuff. It's still, you know, there is a certain Vespucci circuits or circuits in a certain amount of, in certain places that are just very enclosed like that. There's only so much that you can do with them, and there are limitations just generally based on where they are. 10, you bitch! Just getting my name in the video so when you become world famous I can claim royalties. PS, stop wasting your streams on Poverty Spec Xbox One. Coin Dog, thanks for the donation, man. We do all the platforms. Why did I finish fourth? Why? Oh, fourth in the playlist. Okay, I thought that was the race. But it does look like a very good. It looks great. It's a well-made track. It suffers from being in the wrong area, and some of the decisions on, I think, blocking things and the area that it's in. But the track itself is well made. But hopefully that gives people a bit of idea that no matter how good you make a track in terms of covering things, doing all the right things with checkpoint placement and props, sometimes given a certain layout, you are limited. challenge accepted. Okay, Futuro, I look forward to seeing it. What's your t-shirt this week? I mean, you'll see it at the end of the video when I put the full screen on. I like it. It's a good t-shirt. I can see the YouTube chat, yes, but I don't tend to focus on it too much in these streams. So this track is called Bring Some Muscle. From the one lap that I had, it seems like it's going to be a very good track. There's some things that I'm going to talk about that I don't particularly like about it. But this track, the first thing that I don't like about this track has nothing to do with the track itself. It has to do with the title. The title is all in capitals. Like, that turns me off immediately. It's all in caps. Bring some muscle. All in capital letters. And that immediately turns me off. I almost didn't want to even try it just because of that, because that screams to me that it's not going to be a very good track if you can't put the effort into just capitalize each word and have it said properly. Like, you know, that's something else that a lot of people don't, you know, sometimes miss about track creation. There is an element of making it look good, not just the track itself, but also the title, the description. It's everything, you know. Track creation isn't just about making a track and then you're done. It's about all the little things as well that go into making a high quality racetrack. And for example, when it comes to the Broughy verified stuff, I would have never verified something like this just because of the title alone. And the description isn't there's not a lot to the description either. Despite it being seemingly a very good track. So yeah, you know, just give that some thought when you're creating tracks. It's not always just about the track itself. Make sure that the description is good, the title is good. Thank you for the bits. I shall read that in a second after this race. Oh. Just managed to get through there. And this is obviously, you know, people don't have to take my advice. This is just if people want to create the best tracks they can possibly be. Titles and descriptions do come into that. Alright, so I think the first lap mania has died down a little bit, I guess. Now we can talk about the track a little bit more, maybe when we get onto the second lap. Oh, I thought we might have been able to get over the top there. Not quite. Just managed to squeeze through though. And this is a long straight section. So this is quite an interesting track because it is very fast, it's very flowing. Where did that speed come from? It's very fast, it's very flowing. High speed, it's very good in muscle. In terms of the Dominator, it's quite tricky. High speed, you know, it doesn't have an awful lot of grip, so it's a bit of a thrill ride of a track, I would say. And certainly the first part of the circuit, it's all pretty much full speed stuff, and then you get back onto the road and you've got a bit more technical sections, so That's always good. I think the prop placement is good as well, for the most part, but there is some that leaves a bit of stuff to be desired. This is one of those tracks that's a very, very good track as it is, but then it's got some negative sections as well. For example, I feel like this is trying to be a proper racing circuit. If it's not, then it doesn't make a difference, but it's trying to be a proper racing circuit, and you're not going to see big, fiery, circular steel things on a proper racing circuit, and they are littered about everywhere. Also, the big, the massive tyre barriers that you see, the huge atomic tyres. You're not going to see those on a proper racing circuit as well. Look, there they are. They're just randomly placed around the track. That makes no sense to me. There's a lot of prop space seems to be wasted on trees. There's a lot of trees. That prop space could be used for better things. Trees don't really do anything, to be honest. Just put a barrier there. Instead of having 10 trees, just have a barrier. There's a few of the old barriers on certain apexes. The red and white striped barrier. Look at all these. Look at those flaming... to me, those just ruin the appeal of this circuit as being a proper racing circuit. You're not going to see those. You see grandstands on racing circuits. You don't see big fiery things. You see those are more like a stunt circuit. That's what I would expect from a stunt track. Not a proper racing circuit, which this is trying to be. Oh, someone's crashed. And like I said, some of those you will see those red and issues. You will see those red and white striped barriers every now and then. That there's no reason to have those anymore. They just completely stop you dead. There's literally no reason to have them. So although this has, it's a nice track to drive. It's got some really nice flowing sections. It's got some good sections in terms of prop usage. Some of the areas of prop usage are very good. Some of the barriers used are very good. But look, that red barrier on the inside there, no need for that. It just completely ruins it. And it's funny, it's interesting to me how a track can have such good sections in one place and then completely go the other way in another place. It's as if two people created it. Having said that, despite all the criticisms, and the only reason I say these criticisms is to try to encourage the tracks to get a little bit better, and because I think the track is worth trying to improve, and hopefully people who are watching will get some tips from this as well, and maybe what not to do if they want to create proper racing circuits, obviously. As a track itself, it is a beautiful, beautiful circuit. It's so fast, so flowing. It's beautiful to drive. And like I say, some sections like this section, can't fault it. You can't fault this section at all. Props are placed perfectly. It's great to drive. Everything's ideal about that whole section. And then you come to this section and you see these. Having said that, that is obviously all my my opinion from a standpoint of trying to see a proper racing circuit. If people aren't going for a proper racing circuit and they just want something that feels good to drive, but they're putting their own personal take on it, fair enough. I can only give my thoughts and my criticisms. They're not always going to be the same for everybody, and that's obviously fair enough. But that is just my thoughts on it. It's a great track. It's a fantastic track. That brings some muscle. Like I say, probably, although all the criticisms that I mentioned about that, it is a great track to drive, especially in muscle cars. And the worst thing about it is the title, all being in caps. So, apart from that, if the worst thing about it is the title, then it can't be too bad. You can submit pre-stunt tracks as well. Yes. If you click the link in the description that shows you to submit your tracks, there are different categories that you can submit it under. Thanks Hitman for the bits during that race. So yeah, great track. I'd like to see it made into a proper racing GP style circuit with, you know, get rid of all the silly props and the red and white barriers and stuff. And you know, a few tiny small improvements on that track and it would be one of the better tracks, in my opinion. Obviously, you know, this is always just my opinion. People don't necessarily have to agree. People can make their own stuff. It's up to everybody to do their own thing. All I can do is give my thoughts, give my criticisms, and try to showcase some good tracks and explain how I think they could be improved. And you know, you're watching a video and a stream about me in terms of it's my video and it's my stream, so I guess, you know, you're not going to get anyone else's opinion from this. But you know, I always like to say that it is just my opinion, and people don't have to agree with it, and you can create whatever track that you want. The biggest change he needs to make is cut out the anti-apex cutting walls. If you mean the red and white stripe, let's go for the carbonizer for this one. Let's do a blast from the past. If you mean the
what a scumbag!
If you mean the red and white stripe barriers, I agree. Those are probably the worst thing. Ladagassa and resubscribe for 7 months. That's a Twitch subscription, obviously. Oh well, my money went to some Yorkshire guy instead of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Thank you, Ladagassa. Appreciate it, man. Some parts of that were incredible, I agree. So much fun to drive, especially in muscle cars. Yeah, like, as I was saying, you can submit pre-stunt tracks. It's so annoying. And the theme of these streams isn't always going to be proper racing circuits, GP style, Grand Prix style racing circuits, like it has been with the PS4, the Xbox One, and it will be for the next stream on PC. We're going to have some themes where it's all about stunt circuits, some themes where we go back to old school circuits where it's not using the new stunt creator. You know, it's going to be mixing it up all the time, and you can submit whatever track you want, and you can create whatever track you want, obviously. But for the first part of this, it is all proper racing circuits, I guess you could say. Trying to be proper racing circuits anyway. That's what people have listed in their submissions. They crashed there. That's good. I was feeling the pressure with that 9F behind me in my little carbonizer. The reason that I've gone off at the start on this track is because I'm using a carbonizer, so it's obviously a little bit more difficult to come back through the pack when it's a carbonizer. And in these 5 race playlists, I always go to the back in all of them to make the races more interesting. Apart from one race, I always choose one race to just go off at the front and see how we do. And I've chosen the one where I'm at a bit of a car disadvantage. So this is the last circuit, Pegasus Park. Last circuit on Xbox One for this stream, or video if you're watching this afterwards. This was played on one of the Patreon streams one time. For those of you who don't know, we do a stream on... for those who support me on Patreon, they get their races played every month on Twitch. We do a special stream, Patreon races stream. It's always a lot of fun, actually. We see new creations and new stuff. And this was one of those, and it was a decently made airport circuit. It was one of the first that was created with the stunt creator. And as soon as that first came out, I think it was the first month that we had Patreon races with the stunt creator. and I quite liked it because I liked the colour scheme. I liked how it was all the same colours. There were interesting sections. The Twitch subscriber notifications are coming in now that people have realised they can do that still, and it'll pop up. But yeah, there's some interesting sections. The last part of the track is very fast and very flowing as well. I think it needs a little bit of polish, maybe. But apart from that, it is a very, very well made circuit, and it's a hell of a lot better of an airport circuit than old airport circuits used to be, which always used to be, very, very boring. It's a very, very well made circuit. A bit of polish, I think, on some sections would help. Ow. But what I really like about this the most is the fact that there's some stupid Feltzer. Now the elegies and the 9F's back. Poor little Carbonizzaire getting bullied. The thing that I like about it most is the fact that it's an airport circuit that has some elevation. Airport circuits as a rule generally don't have elevation because they are flat. They are just airport circuits, they're all flat. I love this corner, by the way. That's a fantastic corner. I think I would like to see some more sections that aren't just the barriers placed as a sort of 90-degree right or left. It would be nicer to have a few better apex props, I think, and that's what I meant when I said polish. That last section, instead of just having them as 90-degree right and left using the barriers, it would be nicer to have proper apex props like we're starting to see on other top level tracks that aren't quite as harsh. But yeah, the elevation makes this circuit. There's elevation sections on an airport track, and that's really nice to see. It makes it a little bit more interesting than what you would normally get. Obviously, there's a lot more interesting turns than what you would normally get on a airport circuit as well. And I think that that quick left-right turn is probably one of my favourite turns on any track that I've played. That damn Elegies have been allowed to get away now. Stupid OP Elegy with its stupid levels of traction.
I chose a Jester, but I'd rather have the Carbonazzi.
The perfect donation sound for this now that I'm driving the Carbonazzi. Thank you for the donation. I'll read it properly at the end of this, because I'm not doing too badly in my little Carbonizzaire, I feel, against these big boys.
I chose a Jester.
There's another one. Two people must have had the same idea. Oh, I'm done. I think I've defended well, actually. I've defended well from these other vehicles. It's just the Elegy that I wasn't even given the chance to defend against because I got taken out. I'm disappointed. Would have been interesting trying to defend the lead all the way to the end. I've defended against a Feltzer and a 9F so far. Thank you for the donations, guys. I appreciate it so much. I'll read them properly at the end of this when I can actually look at them. The little Carbonazzi's done well. Who needs a Jester? Maybe he was right all along, the GTA dev. People who are new to my channel won't even understand what the reference for that is. When we did the Rockstar live stream, there are videos about it. That was the sound of a GTA dev. Would much rather have had Carbonazzi for a race than a Jester. GTA dev. I mean, these are the people who run the game, who create the game. Tell you what, this is going to be a second for life again. in my standard position, but I feel confident that I would have been able to at least defend for a certain amount of time against that Fauza. Kind of disappointed I got took out and I wasn't able to defend the lead of the race. The little Fauza did well. The little Carbonizaire even. The little Carbonizaire did well. It was L Shelby with the 666. Or Wax Sweden said resubscribe for 4 months. I love the F620. The orange on the card doesn't quite look right. Yeah, I got the blue plus blue mix wrong. Thanks, L Shelby. And Hog 7000 with the 666 again. Poor Carbonizaire. Thank you guys for the donations. Sorry for taking you out. Don't worry, it's all fine. I don't hold grudges. I don't mind. We're just chilling. It's just from GTA racing. The little Carbonizaire did well. Second for life. Second in the Carbonizaire, I'll take that. Did some decent defending in that one. But yeah, that was a decent track. Like I say, I've been saying all the way through this. The links are down in the description for all of the tracks that we've played. If you are on Xbox, you can add those to your game and try them out. Maybe you get some good new tracks to play. They are all in the order that we've played them tonight as well. And obviously they've got the names on them. And if you enjoyed the stream, we got 350 people watching. Not quite as many as when we're playing PS4. Interesting. But yeah, if you enjoyed the stream, Twitch, I stream on Twitch 3 times a week, every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. My Twitch link is also in the description. And I stream at the same times every day as well. It's always 7 PM, same time as this started. And if you're watching this afterwards, if you're watching this on the video, I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope these live streams are turning into good videos, continuing to be good videos, continuing to be fun. That's just what my hope is, and hopefully it gives you guys some good ideas for creating your own tracks, and hopefully you're getting to see some good tracks as well. Also, if you want to submit a track, the link is in the description. You only get one chance though. You only get one chance to submit a circuit, so make sure it's a good one. You can only submit one. Maybe Futuro, maybe. Okay. The Elegy is pretty much the best car on all circuits, unless it's all dominated by top speed, because the Elegy's traction is just ridiculous. So, yeah, I was just me answering someone in the chat. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. There's the t-shirt for someone who was asking earlier. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video. For those who are watching on the video, hope you enjoyed the stream. For those of you on the stream, and we'll be back next week to do it all over again on PC next week. So thank you guys. See you all later. Bye guys.